From their memorable fights in the 80s to their hard-fought playoff games, these two teams are longtime National League rivals. With 19 world championships between them, the bar is always set high for two of the best organizations in the game. Tonight, they meet with the Cardinals battling for a playoff spot. Game 1, next. It's a beautiful night hard upon the shores of the mighty Mississippi. We're at Busch Stadium in downtown St. Louis for the Giants and the Cardinals, game 1 of 3. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller with Jeremy Affeldt. Welcome to Giants baseball. The Giants winning 2 out of the first 3 on this road trip in San Diego. Now they're back in a pennant race, although vicariously they're facing a very good St. Louis ball club that got hot after they left San Francisco at the end of July. And Madison Bumgarner is on the mound tonight, which makes it feel a little bit like October. In fact, this is the first time that Bumgarner has pitched here since game 1 of the 2014 National League Championship Series. And he had a lot of success that night and in the past here, too.
He has, and he's not going to be uncomfortable tonight. He's coming off a really good start, 6 scoreless against Colorado. And I think that, you know, for me, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Madison. He wants to be a guy on the mound for this team, and unfortunately they're not meeting in better circumstances where both teams are vying for a playoff spot. But Madison's going to compete against him like he is, and he's going to bring the Giants, hopefully, some success tonight and a win.
He's facing a young guy, John Gant, who has had some success. He's been both a reliever and a starter. He goes for the Cardinals here tonight. Stay tuned now, and we'll take you to the NBC Sports Bay Area studios for an update from Dave Feldman, Tim Flannery, and Alex Pavlovich right after this.
Sportsnet Central update. St. Louis, gateway to the West. Game 1 of a 3-game series between the Giants and the Cardinals. We're getting you ready for first pitch. Dave Feldman, Tim Flannery, and our Giants insider, Alex Pavlovich. We're going to start with some positives. And San Diego, a place near and dear to your heart, we saw some rookies play very well. Shaw was very effective, reached base 7 times in that 3-game series. Aramis Garcia hit a home run. What are the plans for these guys going forward? It's a positive sign.
It is a positive sign, and if they didn't do that, they wouldn't be playing in this series, because there's an unwritten kind of rule that unless you're hot and playing well and you're a part of this organization going forward, you can't play against teams that are fighting for wild card or pennant. So because of what they did down there, they're going to get a chance to be in a ballpark that's going to be full of Cardinal fans, and I just like the way they've made adjustments.
Alex, these guys are guys that would seem to fit in the Giants' future plans.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I think ideally they would like both of them at AAA to start next year, but I like what I've seen, and I think both these guys have put themselves in the mix, especially Shaw, what he's done the last week or so, where you start looking at the outfield and going, maybe we just play him next year and see what happens. And you mentioned St. Louis. It's going to be so good for them to get that experience of playing in St. Louis against a team trying to make the postseason this time of year.
Let's look at our keys to the games. Flan, I'll let you go first.
Well, I think Bum has had great success at the last few outings there against the Cardinals in Busch Stadium, and he's going to have to keep the ball in the ballpark. The Cardinals are a team, they're second in the league in hitting home runs. Carpenter has been hot, but then all of a sudden he went very cold. Keep him down, and keep Molina out of the game.
Alex, what's your key?
I'd like to see some power. I think we got some young kids in the lineup, some kids who have power. We just talked about 2 of them. That's a great ballpark to hit in this time of year, so take advantage of it.
Madison Bumgarner's got a great history in St. Louis. We're going to go over that later. If he goes back on some memories, there could be some problems for the lineup in St. Louis.
It'll be a good series.
All right, John and Jeremy will come back. The lineups and first pitch, that's next.
Cardinals his first outing here since Game 1 of the 2014 League Championship Series. And now our control play brought to you by Audi. Visit a Bay Area Audi dealer today and get behind the wheel of the Audi model you've always wanted. And he was sensational that night. 7 2/3 shutout innings in Game 1 of that League Championship Series.
Good hair, good breaking ball.
good fastball. He was nasty. That was an awesome game that he threw.
And the Giants off to an excellent start in that series. They eventually would win the series 4-1. Bumgarner threw 112 pitches in 7 2/3 innings, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, and only 4 hits allowed. And it was just one of many spectacular performances by him in that postseason. The Giants and the Cardinals, game 1 of this 3-game series. And we'll come back with the lineups and then the first pitch right after this. Which gets a nice view of the ballpark from out in left center field. Giants Cardinals, game 1 of the series, and they're exchanging the lineups at home plate. So let's take a look now at the Giants batting order, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Gregor Blanco leads off in center field. Joe Panic second base. Evan Longoria is at third base. Brandon Crawford hits cleanup, and he's had a lot of success lifetime in this ballpark at .333 lifetime batting average. His OPS is nearly .850. Nick Hundley, the catcher. Chris Shaw, who has really been hitting with authority here lately, in left field. Aramis Garcia is at first base. Austin Slater right field, and Madison Bumgarner the pitcher bats ninth. And the Cardinals take the field, led by their pitcher John Gant.
As John was saying, John Gant is pitching tonight for the Cardinals. You're going to see some pretty good numbers. He's a young guy. They have some big plans for him. It's the 18th start. ERA 3.53. 107 innings pitched due to the few times that he has relieved, so his innings a little down. 9 homers allowed. But batting average is pretty good overall. You'll see about, he's going to feature 92 to 93, maybe topping out at 95 on his fastball. That changeup, pretty high for most righties to throw, with more of a split change, kind of a bulking grip. kind of does a little diving and sinking and cutting, kind of a all over the place pitch, but he uses it very, very effectively, and a curveball and a slider for his breaking balls to finish guys off from time to time. Defense behind Gant tonight. Ozuna in left, Bader in center, Martinez in right. From third to first, Jerko playing third, De Jong, playing short, Wong second, Carpenter first, Molina obviously catching, and Gant pitching.
And there is the veteran, Yadier Molina. He was signed all the way back in the year 2000, 18 years ago, when he was 18 years old, out of Puerto Rico, the youngest of the catching Molina brothers. And Yadier Molina. And here in St. Louis, it's a very one-sided conversation, because if they ask you, do you think Yadier is going to go to the Hall of Fame, the only appropriate answer here in St. Louis is without question.
You don't question that, John. You get run out of town. I think they could potentially arrest you for saying that. You know,
if you say no.
Yeah, if you say no. If you say he's not.
And no is, I think, the wrong answer anyway. But I think it is an interesting question, and I think there are certainly a lot of things that would recommend him for the Hall of Fame. Yadier Molina broke into the big leagues all the way back in '04, and he's a guy who has gotten better and better as a hitter, always known as an excellent receiver. Here's Gregor Blanco to lead off against Gant. Cardinals keeping an eye on the scoreboard. The first place Cubs lost today in Chicago to the crosstown White Sox in interleague play. And that fastball in there for a called strike at 93 miles an hour. Meanwhile, the Brewers, who right now are in second place in the division and have the first wild card. The Cardinals are the second wild card at the moment. There are two wild cards that will make it. And the Brewers are playing in Pittsburgh and trailing 3-1 in the top of the fifth inning, although that game is now in a delay. 73 degrees, the official game time temperature here at Busch Stadium. And that one's sinking down and away. 2 balls and a strike. Gant was originally drafted by the New York Mets 7 years ago. Then they traded him to Atlanta. And then Atlanta traded him to St. Louis. And the count goes to 3-1. Looks some kind of an off-speed pitch there that didn't work out well.
That's that Vulcan change that he throws 25% of the time. He puts 4 fingers on it, but when you throw a Vulcan, it's almost like you're throwing a split with your ring finger and your middle finger. You split the fastball and then you put the fingers on the side.
There's a high pop-up along the left field line. Ozuna giving chase and does not get there. Shortstop De Jong and the third baseman Jerko also got into the picture there. And some of the fans seem a little disappointed that Ozuna didn't go a little harder after that ball.
It's easy from the stands, you know. Should have laid out for that one, you know.
3-2 the count. Ozuna acquired in a big trade in the offseason from Miami. Up the middle, backhanded by Wong in the dirt. The play made by Matt Carpenter to get the out.
Former third baseman now playing first. Carpenter making a pretty good little pickup there. Took a funny hop even. He kind of got himself in good position. And Blanco hustling up the line. It could have been a bang-bang play. Blanco's been great for him in the leadoff spot the last few weeks. I've really appreciated watching him play.
Here's Joe Panic now. And the curveball is in there for a called strike. Joe Panic has been swinging the bat much better here the last week or so. And Colton Wong backhands this one. Out number 2. They keep hitting it to the wrong guy. They've been talking about Colton Wong. as being a strong Gold Glove candidate here in St. Louis.
I was reading that this morning. Their center fielder and their second baseman are up for some Gold Glove potential opportunities. And Wong's come a long way, man. When he first kind of got to the big, he got brought up in the playoffs, maybe a little bit in September, right for the playoffs. Kind of out of, didn't look like he felt real comfortable. But it's as the years have gone on, he's turned himself into a pretty good little player. Has some power.
Ball 1 to Evan Longoria. 2 down, nobody on. As Gant has gotten a couple of ground ball outs. Curveball is low. 2-0 the count. Very early game here tomorrow. 10:05 Pacific time on the radio. That's a high pop-up foul. Carpenter comes over and runs out of room. Into a sea of red as always here at Busch Stadium. Going way back before this ballpark, the old big multi-purpose Busch Stadium. Same thing.
The old cookie cutter. That's what we used to call it when we came in here.
And of all of those, as time went on, they turned it into the best of those, I thought. They made the best use of it, of the space. Now 2-2 to Longoria. The umpiring alignment is assigned by the commissioner's office. Mike Estabrook behind home plate. Chad Fairchild at first. Roberto Ortiz second base, and the crew chief Kerwin Danley at third. That's a base hit to left field. They hooked it on the ground, but right through the hole. First hit of the game.
Yeah, you saw Gant trying to go in on Longoria there, and Molina probably wanted it in to try to keep it off the hands, and he left it over the middle of the plate. Here he's setting up in, and you see him reach the glove back over the plate. And when you see that, a lot of times, even as a pitcher, you don't have to ask where it was at. If he's set up in and you're seeing that glove travel across the plate and he hits it relatively hard and through a hole like that, it's good. You know you missed kind of more of the middle of the plate and he got too much barrel on the ball. But base hit for the Giants.
Here's Brandon Crawford now, who's had success in this yard. Ball 1. 92 miles an hour off the bat of Longoria, according to StatCast. Brandon, 259, 13 home runs, and he swung the bat really well in San Diego this week. He had a 3-hit game on Wednesday. Drew a walk as a pinch hitter Tuesday, and a homer and a single on Monday there. That is called a strike in the inside. 1-1 the count. The Giants have seen a little bit of Gant in the past, not a whole lot. Brandon Crawford.
Yeah, his last start, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs in San Francisco.
That was back in July. And there's the Vulcan.
Yeah, and see how it has that, like, it almost kind of cuts sometimes with that Vulcan. If you don't keep it, stay inside of it, you'll see it, and it goes and it almost kind of cuts and drops. So almost like it's a split finger changeup is what it is. It just has, it's a little bit slower, and a lot of guys try to do it because they try to control that. They think they have better control over a Vulcan, kind of like it's a palm ball changeup split, kind of more fingers, more skin on the ball, and allows it for more control. I tried one of those. They said I'd have better control, John. I didn't have better control, obviously. Nothing helped.
Did you throw a few scuds with it?
There was
Vulcan scuds?
I mean, it was not even, like, I don't even know if they would call some of the pitches I threw scuds with that Vulcan, because I don't even think I barely got it past the pitching mound there a couple times. It just slammed right into the, I mean, it was so bad.
So it wasn't for you.
Yeah, I canned it after 3 months.
1-2 to Crawford, 2 down. Longoria at first. Off the outside. 2-2. It was all the way back July the 6th. It was early July when the Cardinals were in San Francisco. Pablo Sandoval had a home run. Most of the guys who were in the lineup that day are not available right now for the Giants. Guys like Buster Posey, Andrew McCutchen, Brandon Belt, Pablo Sandoval, either injured or, in the case of McCutchen, traded. And that'll go out of play off the third base side behind the Giants dugout. And he was way off balance on that one, but was able to fight it off. The shortstop, DeYoung, playing almost up the middle for Brandon Crawford. The outfield is deep, pretty much straight away. And Longoria back to the bag. Nick Hundley is on deck. A 2-out single by Longoria. Now Crawford trying to make something happen here. Inside here, and too far in. Now it's a full count, so he's giving him a battle here. I think this next pitch will be the 8th pitch of the sequence, with Hundley hoping to bat. He's on deck. Carpenter vacates the bag at first, plays behind Longoria, who will be off and running with the pitch. There goes Longoria, and that ends the inning. 1 hit, 1 left. Now Madison Bumgarner to the mound. After the first inning here in St. Louis. And let's take a look at the Cardinals batting order now. It'll be Matt Carpenter, who's their leading home run hitter. In fact, leads all of the National League in home run hitting. 35 big flies. First base, Jose Martinez in right, Paul DeYoung shortstop, Marcelo Ozuna left field, Jed Jerko at third base, Yadier Molina the catcher hitting 6th, Harrison Bader in center, Colton Wong at second, and John Gant the pitcher bats 9th.
Madison Bumgarner on the mound for the Giants this evening. 6-6 with a 3.14 ERA. 13 homers allowed. Having a standard year. Innings down a little bit due to the injury out of spring training. Coming up with a split. 35%, 35 fastball cutter. Again, I've seen a few of his starts. I think the cutter is going to be more advantageous for him today than the fastball. And then he throws an occasional changeup, but mostly goes to that curveball to keep guys off balance. And you will see the whole kitchen sink being thrown at this guy all game long. How many leadoff hitters do you remember
John, that would lead a league in home runs.
It's very, very rare. I remember there was a time Bobby Bonds was the Giants' leadoff man. And he was often one of the leading home run hitters around. 1 ball to no strikes to Matt Carpenter. Carpenter 4 hits in 12 career at bats against Bumgarner. Amazing that it's been 4 years since Bumgarner last pitched in this yard. That's a base hit to right field.
Defense behind Madison this evening from left to right. Shaw, Blanco, Slater. From third to first, Longoria, Brendan Crawford, Panic, and the other backup catcher, Aramis Garcia. Nick Hundley catching, and of course Madison is pitching.
Jose Martinez, 6 feet 7 inches tall. And he's hitting .304 with 16 homers. Barehanded by Longoria, and he throws him out. What a play! Wow. Carpenter to second. Gold Glove caliber play right there.
Very difficult play to make. Playing back a little bit. Perfect bunt down the line. Has to come running in. Doesn't have a ton of time. And he has to barehand this ball. That's hard to do because you have to get the right grip and throw it with hardly any time. So that play, everything had to go perfect for him to make that play right there. And that is a veteran Gold Glove third baseman making that play.
So I guess he'll get credit for a sacrifice. No time at bat charged. So here's DeYoung. The Cardinals have a new manager since the last time the Giants saw them. Mike Schilt, who was the bench coach under Mike Matheny. There's right to Longoria. Wow. DeYoung hit a shot, and Longoria, he got it kind of awkwardly. The ball was hooking on him a little bit.
That's another tough play there too. I mean, it's 2 tough plays. When you see Longoria grabbing his, like, squeezing his hand, that might have actually hurt a little bit. Him catching that ball. Ball was hooking, and it might have just hit him right in the palm. Yep, he had to kind of almost go like, underhand. Oh yeah, that ball hit him right in the palm. He said, ouch.
He made a forehand grab on the backhand side.
He didn't have a lot of time to make that adjustment. That ball was hit pretty hard.
And it's 0-1 to Ozuna. That was 106 miles an hour off the bat, said StatCast. The line drive hit by DeYoung. Ouch.
Here's his reaction. Turns around, checks his hand. Ow, he said.
Ozuna, very powerful. Cardinals made a big trade with the Marlins to get him. And he hit 37 homers with 124 RBIs last year for Miami and hit .312 on top of that. He had just a spectacular year, but it's not matched those numbers with the Cardinals. He had a problem with his throwing arm there for a while, and it hurt his hitting a little bit too. Dribbled foul over to Jerko, who's on deck. Now it's 1-2.
Yeah, his last year's numbers, he was in the shadows of Stanton a little bit last year when he was winning the MVP, putting up all those homers. But that year that Ozuna had was respectable by any player, manager, team in baseball.
Huge year. Anybody would have been overshadowed, though. Stanton hit 59 home runs. 2-2 the count now. Ozuna versus Bumgarner. He's had 4 hits in 12 at bats, including a home run against Bum. Carpenter led off the inning with a single, got bunted over to second. He's still there with 2 down. 0-0 here in the first. Time check it. Ozuna, 27 years old, becomes a free agent at the end of next year. Curveball is a flare into center for a base hit. That will get Carpenter home. Cut off by Garcia. One to nothing, St. Louis.
Yeah, Ozuna really didn't hit that ball that hard. He just kind of got enough barrel on it. It was a breaking ball down that he kind of just flipped it out and muscled it to center field. But with 2 outs, the runner's running, and he doesn't have to hold up, and those guys can score on those little bloop fly balls like that.
Ozuna knocks in the first run of the game. His 85th RBI of the year. And that cutter's a little bit off the inside to Jerko. 78 miles an hour off the bat. Better for Bumgarner if it had been 105 miles an hour, and maybe Blanco would have had a shot at throwing out Carpenter at the plate. 2-0. Jerko has a lot of power, but only 3 hits in 18 at bats in his career against Bumgarner. 7 times has struck out against him. Jerko's got 11 home runs for the year. And the helmet came right off on that one. 2-1. Strike 2 call. 2-2.
You can see the game plan for the Cardinals against Madison. I mean, he's got 13 pitches. He's already may have given up 2 hits, a run, and 2 pretty hard hit balls. Well, 1 really hard hit ball, I guess. And you can see they're wanting to be aggressive early. They're not really wanting to let him get in any kind of rhythm.
That's into the gap, left center field. Hustling over to cut it off. Blanco. And stopping after coming around third is Ozuna. So came in behind him. He's back to the bag. A double for Jerko.
See Ozuna rounding that bag. He thought about going home. He stopped and then started, and then you could see that they held him up, and Crawford did a pretty good job almost back picking him right there and getting him out.
Jose Oquendo, the third base coach for the Cardinals. So 2 consecutive 2-out hits. A run is in. The Cardinals have runners at second and third. And here is Yadier Molina. Molina hitting .270, 18 home runs. Spent some time on the disabled list. Oh, right past Hundley to the backstop, and it ricocheted right back to him. So Ozuna had to stay put.
They're going to have a little bit of a discussion here, because I think Hundley did not probably call the pitch that bummed through. So I'm pretty sure they got crossed up. You see, he was almost crossed. That could have hurt. That almost could have been in the favor, though, of the Giants. A lot of times when balls do that, guys go home, and that ball came right back to Hundley. That was a gift.
Get those bricks back behind the plate. Not an advertising panel. Still second and third. 2-0. Yadier Molina, 22 lifetime at bats, more than any Cardinal in the lineup tonight. 7 hits and 22 at bats. So he's had some success against Bumgarner. See his numbers for the year. Crawford. Molina not very fast, and the inning is over. And it's 1-0. St. Louis as we head to the second. Hundley, then Shaw coming up. Designed for the grind and comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer for a great deal on a dependable new ride. Toyota, let's go places. John Gant and the Cardinals now with a 1-0 lead as we head to the second inning. Nick Hundley will lead off against Gant. Then Chris Shaw and Aramis Garcia to follow. And ball one. The Giants did make Gant work hard in that first inning. He threw 21 pitches before he got through it. So they battled him. Right center field. And not even Bader, who may win a Gold Glove, could get that one. Hundley with a stand-up double. And Shaw will come up. Giants take on the Padres and the Dodgers in the final homestand of the year that starts Monday at AT&T. And Monday the 28th will be Filipino Heritage Night. There's a special event ticket. And if you are one of those who pick up that package, you get a Giants Jeepney collectible and a ticket to the Giants Padres game. Go to sfgiants.com/special events for tickets. Jeepneys, those very popular open air taxis in Manila. There's a called strike to Shaw. 0-1.
Gant's facing some younger hitters and also some, veteran hot hitters with Crawford and Hundley. Hundley showing he had a pretty good series in San Diego, and he started showing some bat speed and showed it right there. Beat the shift, sitting on second for a pretty hot young hitter plate right now.
But quickly behind to the count, 0-2. Shaw had a single and a walk Wednesday in San Diego, and a single and a walk, 2 RBIs Tuesday, and a 3-hit game, a single and 2 doubles on Monday, and also had 2 hits Sunday at home against the Rockies. And average has been on the ascent. And it's high and foul and out of play.
And you can see how quick the scouting reports make their way around the league. I mean, Yachty's already asking, hey, make sure if you throw this fastball, you throw it above the belt. If you remember his first few games, he was swinging and missing at almost every ball at the belt or above it, and he wouldn't lay off it. That one there he fouled off, but you're going to see teams continue to go up there if he's going to keep chasing it.
And sprayed foul off to the left. 0-2 the count.
The good thing is if you go down over the middle of the plate, he also has the ability to hit a ball 500 feet.
That's what I like.
Yeah, that'd be better. That'd be way better.
7 hits in his last 13 at bats, plus a couple of walks going back to Sunday. Got past the pitcher and booted, and everybody is safe. DeYoung, the shortstop, on the second base side of the bag, and he did not come up with it cleanly. So it was going to be a productive out anyway, and then it ends up not being an out. And they're going to give him a hit, which is a little bit surprising to me.
When you're going good, that little H is going up on the scoreboard a lot, no matter what you do right there. It was a kick, boot, roll, tumble, grab, throw, still hit.
Well, here's Aramis Garcia now, and he's been swinging the bat very well. Another Giants rookie. Infield double play depth. And he's up there to try and get that runner home from third at the very least. Garcia, 10 hits in 30 at bats in his first go around in the big leagues, and 3 of those 10 hits have gone for home runs, which is pretty good in only 30 at bats.
Even Oppo, he went hit an Oppo homer in San Diego the other day. That's showing some power.
That is called a strike. This was Wednesday.
Is that homer that went opposite field? Kind of did a little back flip thinking, I got it. And he barely got it, but he got it. Those are the homers as a pitcher that you're not really happy about. The ones that hit the wall and then fall over for a homer instead of a double. I'd rather hit one off the moon off me than hit one of those.
1-1 the count. And the changeup. 1-2. Well, he knew he'd hit the ball hard. I talked to him after the game, and he said, but Brandon Crawford came up and said, and with a big smile, and said, wow, do you know what you just did? He said, what? It's Petco Park. You went oppo. Not many guys do that.
Not many. That's why you saw Bam Bam in the dugout over there handing him the ball. Like, here's your ball, man. It's pretty impressive.
Down and away. 2-2 the count. Another changeup there. Double play. The Cardinals infield looking for the double play. The middle infielders. That would get a run home. A fly ball could get a run home. Doesn't necessarily need a hit, but he needs to make contact. Gant is trying to keep him from making contact. 2-2. And he took that one. Curveball in the dirt, 77 miles an hour. Full count now with Slater on deck. And we'll keep an eye on Chris Shaw, the runner at first. Shaw not necessarily a speedster, but then again, hey, he just got an infield hit. Hey, he does have one steal in the big leagues this year. Carpenter on the bag with him at first. He's not running, and that is the strikeout.
See that little Vulcan change that he throws right there. He's pretty comfortable throwing it. He throws it a lot, but he'll throw it in those 3-2 counts where he feels the hitter, especially Yadier's pretty smart catcher. He knows a young hitter 3-2, he's going to be really aggressive. So he knows if I can get him to start this changeup as a strike, we have a good chance of getting him to try to commit and swing at that ball. And that's exactly what he did.
Well, now a double play would end the inning with no scoring. First and third, one out. Slater the hitter. And out of play off to the right. 1-1. Slater would like to get his bat going again. He had a nice thing going there for a while. Never with power this year, but he was hitting effectively, getting a lot of walks. That's all kind of dried up here in the last 2-3 weeks. One to nothing, the Cardinals lead. First and third, one out for the Giants. Bumgarner is on deck. That is a soft liner and caught by
DeYoung. He had to get up to get that ball. Fully stretched arms, as high as you can jump. It's as long as his arm will get. I mean, there was no room left. Just an unlucky catch there for Slater.
So 2 down. Not hit that hard, but the leap was timed perfectly by DeYoung. So now Bumgarner, 2 on, 2 out. Check swing and appeal. No swing, says Fairchild, the first base umpire. 1 ball and no strikes. Bumgarner, 6 hits, 39 at bats for the year, 2 doubles, no home runs.
He's due.
I'm just shocked.
He's due.
He really is. One and one.
If Bumgarner ends the year with no homers, he might not work on pitching at all this offseason. He might just go straight to the cage and just work on hitting.
The Giants are trailing 1-0. They had first and third, nobody out, but a strikeout and then a line drive out leaves it to Bumgarner. And a curve that hangs very high. 2-1. There is Hundley, who led off with a double. Shaw got the infield hit. He's at first. Carpenter stayed on the bag with him this whole inning. Second baseman Wong way over toward the middle. You see how they're playing. The right side of the infield kind of wide open. The outfield is backed up and straight away. And did he swing? The plate umpire made the call himself. Yes. Strike two on another changeup. 2-2.
I don't think Madison agreed with that call. He gave him the dad look that you get when you tell your kid to quit acting up. He had that look to the umpire.
2 balls, 2 strikes now. And a fastball on the outside at 95. And Bumgarner goes back to get in the face of Estabrook. The Giants do not score, trailing 1-0. Cherokee. Top of the 5th inning, top of the 4th inning, game 5, and Barry Zito laid down a bunt. And that shocked the Cardinals. He beat it out for a base hit. That capped a 4-run 4th inning rally. The Giants, who had to win to stay alive, they were down 3-1. And Zito got that win for them and knocked in a run as well.
Z-Man pitching in that same game. He was nasty. Good little changeup, good curveball. Had his fastball working that night. Got some double plays when he needed it. Some big strikeouts. A big hit.
Barry Zito, and he was hot down the stretch that year in the regular season.
He was.
And the whole country thought, well, the Giants are dead. They need to win 3 straight games, and they got Barry Zito on the mound in St. Louis.
Yep.
And Zito was never better. First ball swinging Bader with a pop fly, and Shaw in shallow left, 1 away.
It was so good to see because the 2010 World Series and the playoff run, I think it really messed him up a little bit that he didn't get to be on the active roster for any of that. And it was sad for all of us to see because we knew how hard he worked, even though it didn't look like it was working out for him. So to come back and to be in such a big game and pitch in a few big games, getting us the 2012 World Series championship, I think everybody was pretty excited for him.
The Giants then went home still alive, and they won game 6 and game 7, 3 straight elimination games to win the pennant and go to the World Series. And Barry Zito pitched game 1 of the World Series against Verlander, and the whole country was, well, the Giants, no way they win this first game. And Zito did not allow a run until very late in that game. Sandoval had the 3 homers. They knocked out Verlander early. Colton Wong, that's called a strike. Bumgarner, by the way, He barked at Estabrook, the plate umpire, after being called out on strikes to end this second inning. And then the two of them were still having a conversation when Bumgarner went to the mound to warm up for this inning. On the move is Blanco. Plenty of room out there. 2 down.
This is that strikeout pitch to Madison. He thought it was down the way. It probably was better than what he thought. That two-seamer kind of came back, you see right there, and stuck the glove. And sometimes hitters just don't see it the way that it is, and they can still have a little conversation on the mound talking about it. And they were just making up after that argument there.
You don't like me now, Matty?
Yeah.
Are we okay? He does work umpires, though.
He can intimidate. It's the beard, man. The beard and the hair and the lumberjack.
And he's Madison Bumgarner, the World Series hero. One of the great World Series of any pitcher in the history of the game. 2014. John Gant, 069 batting average, 2 for 29. And the curveball puts him away. And that's an 8-pitch inning for Bumgarner. 1-0 Cardinals. Top of the order coming up. Blanco, Panic, and Longoria when we return. Boys trade-in event is happening now. Trade in your old furniture for discounts on a brand new Lazy Boy. They'll even haul away your old trade-in on delivery. Lazy Boy. Live life comfortably. That's my motto too.
You have one?
That's it. Oh no, Lazy Boy?
Yeah.
Oh. That's a difficult question.
Yeah. I've had one. They're comfortable.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah, I have had one. They are comfortable. I had my parents bought a few of those, and I would always get really comfortable, and my dad would always kick me out. Now, as a dad, I understand why he kicked me out of the chair. You know,
so
because I would kick my own sons out of the chair if I had one of those.
You're now the kicker, not the kicky.
Yeah, you're out. You're out. Dad wants the comfy chair.
Well, I know I get lazy a lot.
Oh boy,
especially in the off season. Here is Blanco, grounded out to second his first time, and Gant misses high, ball 1. Now Gant has thrown a lot of pitches the first 2 innings. He's at 41 pitches already through 2 innings. Just through number 42 there. Giants have worked him. But there is Colton Wong. And Blanco's not going to have a good night if he keeps hitting ground balls at Colton Wong. So 1 away. And Joe Panic. Still in a rain delay in Pittsburgh. Pirates have a 3-1 lead over Milwaukee. That's the game that the Cardinals are most interested in, and they have it posted very conspicuously in their out-of-town scoreboard. So that's not an official game yet. Thunderstorms, it sounds like, in Pittsburgh. Curveball in the dirt to Joe Panik. He grounded out to Wong his first time. Joe grounded out 5 straight times in Wednesday's game in San Diego. In the air to left. Ozuna comes in now. 2 down. Fans need help with a consumer problem? Contact NBC Bay Area Responds or Telemundo 48 Responde. They've recovered more than $1.5 million for Bay Area consumers. Call 1-888-996-TIPS or visit NBCBayArea.com/responds. Whether in English or Spanish, they respond to every call, every email. NBC Bay Area, we investigate. The curveball for a strike to Longoria. Well, here's Gant. He needs a quick inning. Pitch count already an issue for him, and he's got a shot at a quick inning here. Longoria singled to left his first time. That one's 96 miles an hour. Up and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. And off the inside. 2-1 the count now. Tomorrow's game is a 10:05 first pitch Pacific time. On the radio only. The game will be televised back to the Bay Area on Channel 2, a national telecast. That's in the left center field into the gap. It is one hop and over the wall for an automatic double. And Longoria is 2 for 2 in this game.
Good little poke from Evan right there, getting the center fielder. Actually slips and falls, and he wouldn't have caught it anyway. That was put some good barrel on that ball. Hit it into no man's land out there. I believe sometimes that's the only rule that goes the pitcher's way in baseball, is the ground rule double. Save some runs for a lot of guys, or if you're going to give up a double, you need it to bounce over the wall so the guy can't score from first.
I mean, it's also at times an unjust rule if you're not a pitcher.
Yeah. We don't care about that, John.
And there's ball 1. But if you ask the umpires, they're not interested in changing that rule in the slightest.
Nope.
There's no arguing about it. Everybody gets to move up 2 bases. The ball bounces up over the wall like that. There was a time until somewhere around the late 20s maybe, a ball 1 hop into the crowd like that was called a home run.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be not good for pitchers.
There was a baseball guy who was a player, pretty good player in the 20s, named Johnny Noon, and he managed in baseball, he coached, and he was a scout. He was still scouting in his 90s, lived in Baltimore, and I knew him. And he told me the best year he had for home runs, he had 10 home runs. 5 of them bounced into the stands.
Yeah. Hitters would love it. Pitchers wouldn't.
They ended up changing that rule. Check swing by Crawford. But you know, until Babe Ruth came along, home runs were not a big thing in the game. And then there was the question when Babe hit 60, the first guy ever to hit 60. How many bounced in? Because that was still the rule.
Ah.
None.
None.
They all cleared the wall.
He didn't have one ground rule double or homer?
Not even one.
Wow.
1-2 the count to Crawford, who struck out his first time. Runner at second. Possible tying run. The Giants down by a 1-0 score. And it's 2-2 now.
Well, if you're in Wrigley, it's impossible to get a ground rule double homer, because they got the net that hangs out over to slap it back down if it tries to get into the stands.
The basket.
Yeah. So Maybe that's why they created it. Like, let's create something legal to keep the ball from bouncing in for a homer.
Well, although the basket was way after that rule had been changed.
Yeah, I missed that. I wasn't around during that time. Hi, John.
2-2 the count, and Crawford lays off too high. It's in any number of baseball histories.
So good. I mean, honestly, only you would know that.
But you were out on the field, you were pitching, you were trying to perfect your curveball, and you're working on your splitter, working on that pitch to get the ground ball. You didn't have time to read baseball histories. You were out there making history. And that's a walk for Crawford. So that puts 2 men on now. And now Nick Hundley, who ripped a double into right center his first time, will come up with a chance to do some damage here. 2 on, 2 out. And the chance for a quick inning evaporating for John Gant. He's thrown 14 more pitches. He's at 55 pitches thrown already. And we're only in the 3rd inning. Longoria hit a 2-out double. He's at second. Crawford walked. He's at first. And the outfield is straight away for Nick Hundley. And it's inside. Giants have had a pretty patient approach against Gant.
Yeah, they've been working the counts against him, but that's a lot of times when hitters are hot like that. Crawford's been pretty hot. Hundley's been pretty hot. They're seeing the ball well. So it's not always just them hitting the ball hard. It's they're able to like work counts and kind of foul balls off that they don't want. Take pitches that are close that are balls. And that's kind of what hot hitters do. They're locked in all the way around.
Called a strike on the inside. 1 ball, 1 strike count now. Gant has been throwing a lot of pitches, high stress kinds of pitches where a base hit could mean a run. He had runners at first and third and nobody out in the second. He got through it. Now first and second, 2 down, facing Hundley. And back to the screen. 1 and 2. Hundley is facing Gant for the first time tonight. He did not get any at-bats against him back in early July in San Francisco. One ball, 2 strikes. And the changeup in the dirt. 2-2.
Here's that last pitch, little Vulcan change. Like a half an inch from that ball scooting out from under him. He almost got up too high to block that ball, and that ball almost scooted through between his legs.
The ball bounced in front of the plate.
Yeah, that happens. I've seen it.
I just wanted to point that out in case I know how you must have been shocked. How does that happen?
Yeah.
2-2 the count. This will be the 60th pitch already for Gant. Now time taken. And the veteran Yadier Molina, 36 years old now, going to go out and speak to the young right-hander. And Wong from second, DeYoung from short also come in to join.
Yeah, he did it. He did it. Don't get mad at me.
Usually you always expect the umpire grants timeout because the hitter asked for it. But the umpires want everybody to know, no, it wasn't the hitter, it wasn't me, it was this guy right here.
Yeah.
Your guy.
Yeah, your guy did it.
2-2 the count. Longoria at second, Crawford at first. 2 down in the inning. Another changeup, again in the dirt. And another high stress inning for Gant. But so far, he has been able to prevail here. Giants have not gotten that one big hit to knock anybody home. This will be his 61st pitch of the game. 3-2. The runners will be going. Longoria and Crawford from second and first, respectively. There they go. And a walk to load the bases. Cardinals bullpen is active.
Yeah, there's not going to be a very long leash when you're in a playoff hunt like this, and you know every win matters. They don't have time to worry about guys struggling. They're not going to let you try to get through it. They got to try to salvage any kind of game that they can. You'll see a lot of quick hooks here in September.
Tyson Ross is up in the bullpen, the former Padre. Mike Maddox, the pitching coach. There's Mike Schilt, the new manager of the Cardinals after they fired Mike Matheny. So the bases are loaded, and Gant with his third consecutive inning of 20 pitches or more, and this one's still in progress. Shaw got an infield hit his first time. Strike one. And he's a rookie. The average is ascending right now. But even when he was struggling, Bruce Bochy liked his approach with runners in scoring position, or a spot with a runner at third, let's say, and less than 2 down.
Yeah, committed swings.
That's off the inside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
He's kind of one of those type of hitters that if he wants it, he's all in. He's not going to be most of the time, he probably won't be in between pitches. And I think Bruce likes that, guys that go up there and they're aggressive. They see RBIs, swing for it. He likes those kind of guys as well. So I think he enjoys when young guys come up and commit.
He had 24 home runs at Sacramento. He's got lots of power. A ball got loose from the Cardinal bullpen out in right center, so there was a moment delay there while Martinez tossed it back in. Bases loaded, 2 down. The changeup down and away, and he lays off that one. 2-1. Tyson Ross, who's a longtime starting pitcher, heating up in the Cardinal bullpen. He's been used mostly as a reliever by the Cardinals. Changeup off the outside again. 3-1.
Seems like he's kind of turning into a little bit of a nibbler here. You have 95 miles an hour in the tank with a good changeup. I'm sure Yadier wants him to throw it a little bit more over the plate, challenge these guys. It seems like he's been a little tentative.
High and foul off the left field line. That will go back out of play. But after all those changeups, he got some heat, and he was a little bit behind it. 3-2 the count. Shaw, only 24 years old, out of Boston College. He grew up in Red Sox Nation. Longoria at third, Crawford at second, Hundley at first. They'll all be able to take off with this pitch. There they go. It's high and inside, a walk to tie the game. The third consecutive walk by Gant, and nibbling to the bitter end, and he's out of the game now. Here comes Schilt, the manager.
Yeah, you're not commanding the strike zone. You got 70, 67, 68 pitches and 2 2/3. He just doesn't have it. He's not feeling good. But give credit to Shaw. That ball was over the plate, up just a hair, but it was a really close pitch, and he took a good pitch and walked it.
Exactly the kind of pitch he was swinging at over and over again.
That's right.
Earlier on. New pitcher Tyson Ross coming in, 1-1. Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. I'm John Miller with Jeremy Affeldt. Mike Krukow is on assignment. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Giants have finally scored a run. 3 consecutive 2-out walks after Longoria's double extended the inning, all on 3-2 pitches. Crawford, Hundley, and then Shaw. And Shaw's most dramatically to force in a run on a 3-2 count. So here is Aramis Garcia, another Giants rookie, to face Tyson Ross, the Bay Area native, born in Berkeley, still lives in Oakland in the offseason. Way outside, and Yadier Molina saved a wild pitch on that one. We're used to seeing him. I don't know, the
hitters have seen plenty of Tyson Ross.
But always as a starter.
Yeah, low to mid 90s as a starter. Coming in as a reliever can be a little different story. You got guys on. You're coming in. Your first pitch of the ball game is a 0-0 count with bases loaded. It's not really comfortable for some guys, and especially a guy that's made most of his appearances as a starter.
And it's ball 2.
You can almost see right there, to me, just in the first 2 pitches that he's thrown, he's tentative. He's kind of aiming. He's trying not to make a mistake. And sometimes you got to tell yourself, hey, I got 2 outs. I just need to get this guy out. Don't worry about what guys are on the base or which guys are on base. You got to get this guy out. But you know, a lot of guys come in right there and they get a little tentative and they start leaving balls over the middle, and that's what I think Garcia's hoping for.
Well, they blew it by him, 93 miles an hour.
That was it right there.
The last pitch 8 days ago and went 3 innings in relief against the Dodgers, and also hit a home run in that game. He's pitched 17 1/3 innings in relief as a Cardinal, and mostly in long relief. That's a foul back out of play. Strike 2. Throws a lot of sliders. According to the statistical people, he's thrown the 5th highest number of sliders in Major League Baseball in a percentage basis. Nearly 42% of his pitches have been sliders.
There's a really good chance he'll get one right here. 2-2 count.
There it is, and it works. Nasty. The Giants get the 1 to tie the game.
Great Clips wants you to love your haircut. That's why they created Clip Notes. Notes that tell them what you like, so you get your same great haircut every time, anywhere. Great Clips. It's gonna be great. And there is some good hair on that Giants club. I mean, they got a lot of good hair working.
And amongst some Giants fans in the stands as well. And we know those people, the flight attendants for the Giants charter flights on Delta Airlines. It will be taking us home after the game here on Sunday afternoon. The final road game of the year for the Giants. As Matt Carpenter leads off a 1-1 tie now. Bumgarner's done a lot of sitting in the dugout in this game. The Giants have been up for very long periods of time. Bumgarner just had an 8-pitch inning when he was on the mound in the second. One ball and one strike. If this were a football game, we'd be talking about time of possession. The Giants,
they're leading that.
The Giants offense has been up most of the time in this one, but it's a 1-1 game. That's a called strike. Carpenter hit a single his first time into right field and scored a run. He was knocked in later in the inning by Ozuna, who also singled. And the cutter is just off the outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Matt Carpenter, 35 home runs. There was a time where it seemed like he was hitting one every day, sometimes 2.
Yeah, he had a series against the Cubs, and he hit like 5 home runs in like 6 days or something. It was something ridiculous.
Or 4 days or 3 days. Brandon Crawford throws him out.
Man, that's 2 guys with great hair throwing to each other. John,
That's
some good hair right
Garcia.
there. Yeah, good flowing hair from those 2 boys. Garcia's beard isn't as good as Crawford's, though, so you kind of have to look.
Well, Crawford's from Northern California and Garcia is from South Florida.
They don't grow good hair down there in South Florida.
Well, they have a different opinion as to what is good hair. If this were a Miami Marlins telecast, they'd be saying just the opposite.
Great look. Good beard.
Crawford, on the other hand, not so good. That is in there for a strike with a curveball. 0-1 to Jose Martinez, who laid down a bunt his first time. And he got credit for a sacrifice, but I'm not convinced that was his intent.
He was trying to bunt for a hit. Longoria was playing him back just like that. He tried to sneak. He almost got it.
Longoria playing him very deep. And why not? This guy's 6 feet 7 inches tall. And hits the ball hard. You see where Longoria is over there at third base. It's a good call if you're Martinez. At least you got the runner over. And if you beat it out, your average goes up. But you get thrown out and it doesn't suffer. That ball is crushed deep into center field. Blanco at the wall and makes the catch.
I think everybody in the stadium is shocked that ball didn't. I think even Bum thought that ball was out.
Well, Martinez certainly seemed to think so.
I think he got under it. He got under it just enough, but it kind of tailed back, and I think he lost a little bit of distance by that ball coming back to Blanco. But man, that ball hung up there and stopped real quick. That's one as a pitcher that you get back on the mound and you're like, whew. I'm thankful for whatever stopped that ball from going over.
Thankful that he was bunting the first time he was up.
Yeah. That's where the manager probably, when he walks back down into the dugout, he says, that's why I don't want you bunting. If you can hit a ball like that, and I need you to not bunt. But it just shows how good Bum's been against the Cardinals. They're trying to score runs early, and they're trying to move guys over even just to get guys in scoring position, and they know how tough he is.
DeYoung lined out to third his first time. 2 down, nobody on. 1-1 the score. By the way, the StatCast, you know how they calculate how far a home run travels, based, and they have a formula for it, algorithm. Crawford and DeYoung is retired, and that's a shutdown inning for Bumgarner, who has retired 7 in a row. We'll finish that story when we come back. It's 1-1. make it easy to access your favorite entertainment at home and on the go. Xfinity, the future of awesome. The Giants' top 10 prospects. Number 1, their first draft choice of the year, 21-year-old Joey Bart and Salem Kaiser, the catcher. Elio Ramos, 19 years old with Augusta in the Sally League. In the outfield, Sean Anderson, a right-handed pitcher, and he had been at San Jose, then ended up with Sacramento. Chris Shaw, 24 years old, now with the Giants. Marco Luciano, an international signing, and he has not yet played. Sean Jelly, he was one of their early draft choices this year. Was at Salem Kaiser, a pitcher, and I believe he's 6 feet 11 inches tall. By the way, don't forget that name.
It's Randy Johnson.
Tyler Beatty, another pitcher. We've seen him. He got up for a little while in the big leagues. Sandro Fabian of San Jose, Jacob Gonzalez of Augusta, and Heath Quinn of San Jose. So here is Slater with Bumgarner on deck facing Tyson Ross. Ross, as a member of the Padres, he's always been pretty tough on the Giants.
Yeah, he had some great starts against them. He's always done very well with that fastball slider combo against the Giants.
And that slider taken. Good take there by Slater. That's one of those, maybe if it's 2 strikes, maybe he's swinging.
Yeah. That's the one, yeah, he doesn't have to swing at it. You know, he's like, I'm in between on that. I don't have to, and it would end up being a ball. I don't think the hitter knows it's a ball. I think he just hopes it is.
That's out of play off to the right. Slater hit a soft liner that was caught by the leaping shortstop DeYoung with the runner in scoring position back in the 2nd inning. The Giant who's had the most success among the current Giants against Ross is Joe Panic, who's due up 4th in this inning. And another take, and that ball was up. 3-2. Ross trying to put him away with that slider. He did strike out Garcia with the bases loaded on a slider to end the 3rd. Did he swing? Yes.
Oh.
Chad Fairchild, the first base umpire on the appeal, made the call.
I'd like to see a little side angle to see what we think there. Well, thinking there's a good chance that bat might have crossed the plate there. Except I'm still confused on what an umpire really looks for when they're check swinging. I asked an umpire that one time, and he said they have to have an intent to swing. Yeah. Well, that's every time they check swing, though. They have an intent to swing.
Well, the way they explained it to us years ago was because it's not in the rule book. Bumgarner hits a soaring fly ball into center. Now in the ball. It does look like there's some wind out there. Just watching the way Bader went after that ball. That's not where he went initially, and then he came rushing forward. So. Because we were talking about that drive hit by Jose Martinez that died at the wall. So I think there is something out there that you wouldn't know it by the flags, but maybe up a little higher above the upper rim of the ballpark, whatever it is, seems to be knocking balls down to center field. Because the ball hit by Martinez, and the StatCast has a formula, an algorithm to determine how far a ball goes, based on the speed off the bat, the exit velocity, the launch angle, things like that. And their estimate was that Martinez deep drive to center went 422 feet. Well, it's 400 feet to the center field wall, and he did not make it over that wall. So
what you're saying, though, is numbers do lie.
Well,
everybody says numbers don't lie.
I think StatCast would agree that probably there was a mitigating factor, maybe some wind knocked that one down. Blanco is twice grounded out to Colton Wong, and the count goes to 2-1 now. 1-1 the score in the 4th inning. Cardinals picked up Tyson Ross. He was out there, and they claimed him, and the Padres said, okay, he's yours. That is grounded foul. Right past Jose Alguacil. The ball dude. And the young fan's got a souvenir. Harrison Bader fan. Giants with 4 hits. Cardinals with 3. We're in the 4th inning. Each team with a run. Into right field. On the move. Martinez gets there. Right at the foul line. See that one? Blanco thought that ball was going 12 rows deep.
Statcast. The Giants will honor their fans with Fan Appreciation Day. It's the Giants versus Dodgers in a special 12:05 start. Come out to the ballpark to experience the fun and have a chance to win prizes like a 2018 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road, Coors Light Yeti coolers, AT&T $1,000 gift cards, and Alaska Airlines flight vouchers.
And what a pick at first base there by Garcia on the one-hop throw from Crawford from deep in the hole to get Ozuna.
What a, and that guy can take the perfect angles. He knows if he's going to throw it, make a hop throw. That's it, man. He throws that ball, short hops first base just perfectly. Garcia, good little Brandon Beltish type pick. His split was a little bit better than Belt's. He does the splits better than Belt does, I think, right there.
Well, I like the throw came up a little bit. It wasn't just right near the glove and a quick hop into the So nice defense there to get Ozuna. Jerko hit a double his first time, and he's quickly behind on the count as he swings and misses with that Bumgarner curveball. 0-2. Yadier Molina on deck. Back to the screen. No balls, 2 strikes. Since Jerko hit that 2-out double to left center in the first inning, Bumgarner has retired everybody 8 in a row. Curve is low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Still raining in Pittsburgh, and it's not an official game yet. I guess the Cardinals may have mixed feelings about that. They'd like to see the Brewers lose. They're the team ahead of them for the first wild card spot. Foul off the foot. Ouch. Ouch. He's got that Marshall shin guard over the lower left shin to begin with.
And that's how baseball is, man. Jerko's probably thinking, I have the shin guard. And then it hit me in the part that the shin guard doesn't cover to hurt me again. One little spot, right at the top of the shin there. Oof, you do not like how that felt.
1-2 the count. Bumgarner tries it again. Backdoors him. Strike 3 called. 77-mile-an-hour breaking ball. Came back. Got to call his second strikeout.
Good pitch on the outside corner. That's that good little curveball that he has really developed the ability to throw backdoor to righties. He can throw it at lefties, backdoor to righties, back foot to righties. He's just had a tremendous ability as his career has gone on to make adjustments and to be able to make big pitches like that.
Yadier Molina. And it's 0-1. Fastball in there. Molina grounded out to short to end the first inning. Bumgarner has retired 9 straight Cardinals. Foul out of play off the right field line. Strike 2. 1 run, 4 hits for the Giants. They've left 6 men on base already. 1 run, 3 hits for the Cardinals. 2 left aboard. Nope, not that time. Wow.
It was the same pitch. Really good pitch right there.
Brooke called it a strike on Jerko, but not on Molina. Maybe a little bit further outside. This is a slow bouncer. Longoria. Inning over. Bumgarner on a roll, heading to the 5th now. Panic, Longoria, and Brandon Crawford coming up. It's tied at 1.
In San Francisco, Marvel Night package buyers will receive an Ant-Man Marvel bobblehead and a ticket to see the Giants-Padres game. Visit sfgiants.com/special events for your tickets. I didn't know the new Ant-Man was filmed in San Francisco, huh? It's kind of cool.
You mean there was another Ant-Man?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
It's pretty awesome.
Joe Panik leads off for the Giants against Tyson Ross. And Panik's had 5 hits and 10 career at-bats against Ross. He's one of the very few Giants who've had any kind of success to speak of against Ross. Ball 2. Panic is grounded out to second and flied out to left. Longoria, who's had a single and a double, is on deck, and Brandon Crawford is due up third in the inning. 1-1 tie. Three and out. Giants drew 3 consecutive 2-out walks in the third inning, all on 3-2 pitches. And finally, the third of those walks forced in Longoria from third base with the Giants' run. At the high strike there. So it's 3-1 now. You see his numbers against Ross. 3 of those 5 hits have been doubles. Strike 2 call. Full count now. Giants only got their leadoff man on base in 1 inning in this game. That was the second inning when Hundley led off with a double. And he struck it out with that slider.
Kind of set it up with a little bit of some backdoor sliders. Kind of looked like they backed up a little bit, and then that one is that back foot that starts out on the outer half and gets guys to commit, and it breaks so late that they end up swinging right over the top of it. It's been a good, effective pitch for him his whole career. Giants have seen that pitch a lot.
Longoria has singled to left and doubled to left center. Ball 1. Longoria scored the Giants' run in the third inning. Oh, he got the fastball and took it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Apparently, he had something else in mind.
Yeah. No, like a lot of times hitters can kind of guess sometimes, and then all of a sudden that ball's like right down the middle, and you know they weren't, as a pitcher even, you know, I threw that ball right down the middle. Like I'm pretty sure he wasn't looking for that pitch, but it can mess you up too sometimes, because then you're like, wait, what pitch is he looking for? You know, like, so it's a cat and mouse game sometimes, but you kind of hope for those kind of pitches when you have 2 strikes on a guy. Getting away with a heater down the middle.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Let's see if this is the slider. That's roped into left center field. I think it was a slider, and it hung. And Longoria, after the big turn at first, is going to hold on as Ozuna was able to cut the ball off in the gap. Hold him to a single, and that's 3 straight hits for Longoria.
That was his unfinished slider. He didn't quite get full extension on it. He didn't get the good finish on that at the end of the pitch, and it kind of backed up. You saw Yadier trying to go away, kind of backed up over the inner half, and Longoria didn't miss it. 3rd hit of the ball game.
Well, since the beginning of September, Longoria's numbers have been very strong. 0-1 to Brandon Crawford, swinging and missing at a fastball. He has struck out and walked in this game. Right over the outside corner. Strike 2 call.
One of the things Yadier has been very good at over the course of his career is stealing strikes. Buster is also a very good catcher to do that. He kind of sets up out there, and he can actually catch that ball. Even though it's just outside, he can make it look like he caught that over the plate, and that's where you'll see a lot of these hitters get frustrated when they don't think it's a good pitch.
That is all for Crawford. He strikes out on 3 pitches. Six outs recorded by Tyson Ross. 4 of them have been on strikeouts. So here is Nick Hundley, who has doubled to right center and walked. Hundley is a guy who also has had a little success against Ross. 3 hits in 7 at bats against him, including a triple. Longoria, the runner at first, with 2 down here in the 5th inning. 1-1 the score. Longoria does not do a lot of base stealing, but every once in a while, when they're just not paying close attention, he has 3 steals and 3 tries for the year. Carpenter on the bag with him at first. Strike 1 to Hundley. Ross, who had a 4.11 earned run average for the whole year, with the Cardinals 2.31, mostly in this relief role. Look out. Ball on the strike. The Cardinals, he certainly has filled a need for them.
Yeah, no, him coming in, this is exactly why you get a guy like this, is if you're in September, your starters are starting to get tired, you have a guy that has starting experience, has arm strength. He can be a secret weapon for a lot of guys in September and in the playoffs.
Longoria runs, and he's out. The Giants are going to take a look, which the umpires have notified the Cardinals don't leave the field just yet, but a great throw by Yadier Molina.
Yeah, you don't steal on that guy very often for that reason. I mean, even if you think you have a good jump and your pitcher's slow to home, that is a cannon. The ball definitely beat him, but if he tries to tag his back foot right there, he's safe. Like, he's safe. I feel like he's safe.
Well, they're asking the Giants for a decision, and Bruce Bochy is waiting for Sean Dunston and Chad Chop. And apparently they're not going to challenge it, which is kind of surprised by that.
I am too.
Evan Longoria tried to steal second base, and we thought maybe he had made it. What do you think?
Well, it all depends on where they tag. It looks like he tagged him on the calf, but this one here gives me a decent look at it. That looks like he might have, but I think I feel like his heel was on the back of the bag right there before the tag. See, he hadn't tagged him yet.
Yeah, it looks like the foot hit the bag before he got tagged, which puts a runner at second, and Huntley up there, who's been swinging the bat well. But the Giants ended up not challenging the call. One thing that is, keep in mind, because the call was out, the umpires in New York have to see something that say, there, that's definitive proof.
That's right. That's what I was going to say. Is maybe you just didn't think you could overturn it.
That's a fair ball by Harrison Bader. He's a fast runner. Shaw throws in, but Bader is already there with a double.
That's one of those kind of balls that you kind of got in on that hitter, and it was like it's a game of inches. That ball was 2 inches, 3 inches from being foul. You can't do really anything about that. It wasn't necessarily good contact. He just hit it basically in the perfect spot where no one was at. Now he's got to go to work, and he's got to try to deal with this inning and move through this inning and try to navigate outs.
So Bader off his bat, that ball hit only at 79 miles an hour, so that's what you were talking about. Didn't necessarily hit it real hard or particularly well, but certainly hit it to the right spot. So here is Wong swinging away right along the third base line again. And Bader's going to come around to score. Shaw into second. It's 2-1 Cardinals.
Same exact situation there. Ball wasn't hit that good. You can see Longoria kind of threw his arms up like has this happened twice. A little bit of frustration that ball got by, and then just you got a speed guy at second base. And he's gonna score on that ball, and that's just two kind of unlucky hits that Madison's given up at the wrong time.
Colton Wong gets the RBI to knock in the go-ahead run. Now Tyler O'Neill is the pinch hitter for Tyson Ross. Dakota Hudson, the right-hander, warming up in the Cardinal bullpen. And O'Neill takes ball one. O'Neill is at 120 at bats at 250 average. He's hit 8 home runs, so he's got a lot of power. 8 home runs. He's averaged 1 homer every 15 at bats, as you see Hudson out of the bullpen. And the curveball in there for a called strike. To center. Blanco gets there. Wong was 2/3 of the way to second, so he goes back to first. That ball hit much better than either one of those hits.
Yep, and it's an out, and that's where this game is not always fair either way for the hitter or the pitcher. You know, it's unfair for the pitcher if those balls on Madison kind of got down the line, and it's unfair for the hitter. You hit a ball in the screws like that, and then you can't. Your batting average drops. You know, this game isn't A to B equals C, and that's why it makes this game so tough and mental. It's all about the mental approach to the game. If you can mentally stay in the game, you can be here a long time.
Well, that guy O'Neill, who just hit that line drive out, has hit 34 home runs this year between his time in the big leagues and in AAA with Memphis. He had 26 homers at Memphis. Now Carpenter's get 35 homers in the big leagues this year. Ball one. He has had a single to right and scored a run and grounded out to short. 2-1. The Cardinals back ahead in the 5th inning. Dakota Hudson, another young Cardinal who was a Pacific Coast League All-Star, getting ready to come into the game in the 6th. That's a called strike. Cutter, 1 ball, 1 strike now. See how the Giants are playing it with this left-handed power hitter. The outfield around toward right, and the shortstop Crawford almost up the middle, although the second baseman Panic is not quite but close to straight up. Wong is back to first. Wong has 6 steals this year. He runs pretty well. but not a base stealer per se. Been thrown out 5 times trying to steal. Jose Martinez on deck. And that's strike 2 called. And Carpenter didn't seem to think so. Carpenter's giving the umpire that look.
Yeah, got the dad look working. Only problem is you can't ground umpires. You know, you can't give them you do that again, I'm going to ground you. You can't. Sometimes you wish you could, but you can't.
1-2. Struck him out. And Carpenter comes away hobbled a little bit. Something.
Yeah, he looked like he might have hurt something right there.
Yeah.
That last swing right there, something didn't feel right. It's almost, I don't know, his back foot. Can't tell. Maybe his knee, huh? Might have been a knee issue, maybe. I don't know. It's weird. He didn't grab anything. Didn't look like anything out of the ordinary right there. But.
Third strikeout for Bumgarner. Here is Martinez. Hello. 1 ball, no strikes. Martinez had a sacrifice bunt in the first and flied out deep to center. The ball was caught right in front of the wall by Blanco in the third. Officially, he's 0 for 1. 2-1. The Cardinals back ahead. A run is in here in the 5th. Wong still at first. Pop fly. Shaw in a hurry. Still coming. No, he missed it. He reached out for it and did not catch it. Wong to third. Martinez holding it first.
Ball was hit pretty high, but it looked like it was hit shallow. He came charging in, and the ball's catchable. He just flat out missed it. He just went to catch it, and the ball went right by his glove. It's one of those ones where the outfielder kind of goes back a little perturbed on how that happened.
And he had that look in his face like he couldn't believe it that he didn't catch it.
Yeah. It was right there. He just missed it.
They score it as a hit, which is almost impossible to believe. So here is DeYoung, who has lined out to third and grounded out to short.
That's where, like, I would have a huge disagreement with the scorekeeper. I don't care that it didn't hit his glove. This is the major leagues. That ball needs to be caught. He was right there. The ball was at his glove. He just missed it altogether. It's not a hit.
It wasn't a shoestring catch. He didn't have to
lay out
lunge for it. He just came in, and the glove was above the belt.
Yep, that's a bad. That's an error by that scorekeeper. ES, error scorekeeper.
Bumgarner trying to get DeYoung and just make it an academic discussion. That's called a ball, and Bumgarner can't believe it. 3-0. Ozuna is on deck. Well, he got a pop-up.
That same pitch, he's been throwing it all night. When he doesn't give it to him, it can frustrate Madison because it's a hard pitch to make, and when I make it, I want to get a call on it.
3-1 now. Well, this costs some pitches as well, not just.
Yep.
Even if he gets out of it, he had to throw more pitches than he should have had to throw. 3-1 the count. Runners at first and third. And that's a bouncer foul off to the left. That cutter that had a lot of movement running right in off the plate under the hands of DeYoung.
But this is what Madison has done very well most of his career at, is having to deal with traffic situations that maybe go a little weird where some guys give in, and he's usually done pretty good in these situations getting out of it.
And he strikes him out, doing just what you were talking about, what he has had so much success doing. They don't score anymore. It's 2-1 though. Great Clips want you to love your haircut. That's why they created Clip Notes. Notes to tell them what you like, so you get your same great haircut every time, anywhere. Great Clips. It's going to be great. New pitcher for the Cardinals as they have gone ahead now 2-1. And Dakota Hudson in from the Cardinal bullpen, a young right-hander.
AAA All-Star this year, right? PCL, 3.27 ERA, just 22 innings pitched, 16 hits, 14 walks, which with the way the Giants hitters are hitting tonight, they should probably work the count on him. He looks like he's a little bit wild, can walk some guys.
Hundley called a strike, 96 miles an hour. He doesn't get many strikeouts for a guy who's got throws that hard. 6 feet 5 inches tall. He was the first, the 34th overall player chosen in the draft the year before last. It's only his 3rd year in professional baseball. And they were using him as a starting pitcher mostly in the minor leagues until this year. Hudson just turned 24 6 days ago. Hundley has doubled to right center and walked. Dakota Hudson out of Mississippi State University. And that is all for Nick Hundley.
Well, he didn't look very wild in that at bat. It was 96, 97 with some movement. Which could be potentially a pretty good matchup between Shaw, power versus power, and this kid. If he throws down, Shaw likes it down.
One. Off speed pitch there. Shaw's had what was scored as an infield hit, and then he drew a bases loaded walk his last time.
92 mile an hour. Looked like it was almost like a slider. That pitch right here, the ball just,
man,
that's pretty good if you can throw 92 mile an hour sliders like that.
And a two-seam 97 mile an hour fastball running away from it.
That blows my whole theory out of the water on you can throw through a sinker. Like if you throw a sinker too hard, it goes straight. Because if you throw a 97 and it's sinking, I don't know if you can throw it too hard. There's another one. Nasty, 98 that time miles an hour. See, it's late life too. The ball just diving right in the hitting zone where the hitter needs to hit that ball just in front of home plate. You see that ball just diving right underneath the bat.
Now Aramis Garcia, 2 down, nobody on. Dakota Hudson out of the Cardinals farm system in a pennant race. Strike one. I don't understand how he had 22 innings pitched in the big leagues before tonight and only 13 strikes. He had more walks than strikeouts.
I know, he's not throwing those pitches.
See sinking action on that one too. 0-2 the count. Well, he's throwing him and nobody's hitting him.
Comes that hard slider.
Tyson Ross went 2 1/3 out of the bullpen. No runs, 1 hit. He had 4 strikeouts. Now Hudson. and puts him away. I don't think anybody even hit a foul ball. Wow. Let's go places. The most ground balls turned into double plays this year in the National League. The Giants, #1. And the Giants' most often double play combination is Brandon Crawford and Joe Panik, one of the best double play combinations in the game. The Rockies are just behind them. Then the Cardinals and the Cubs at 145. The D-backs 143. Ground balls turned into double plays. Marcell Ozuna leads off against Bumgarner here. He has singled home a run and grounded out to short. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ozuna hit a 2-out single in the first inning to give the Cardinals a 1-0 lead at that time. Crawford backing up. Throws him out. Crawford wanted to get the true hop.
He makes that look really easy. That ball was hit pretty good. He was in between hops, and he had enough angle where he could take a drop step at the last second and catch that ball a little more clean. I think that play looked very routine when it was, could have eaten up a lot of shortstops right there. It was kind of a, here you'll see it. Here's that right in between hop where it kind of caught him up. And
showed those soft hands. And a called strike to Jerko with a cutter. Jerko doubled into left center his first time and struck out looking in the 4th inning. 2-1. The Cardinals lead the Giants. Ball and a strike now. Yadier Molina is on deck. By the way, that pitcher we saw who came in and struck out the side, throwing 97, 98 mile an hour gas, a 92, 93 mile an hour slider. Dakota Hudson. They gave us a note on him. He was the Pacific Coast League pitcher of the year.
Oh.
And mostly as a starter. He was 13-3 with a 2.5 earned run average and only allowed 1 home run in 19 starts, 112 innings pitched. Two and 1 to the powerful Jed Jerko. 2-2. Bumgarner due up second in the 7th inning, so he might be pitching his final inning. That's a base hit. He hit a curveball there, up the middle. Hit number 7 for the Cardinals. Now Yadier Molina will come up.
Perfect candidate for a double play ball. Not very good speed, hits the ball on the ground. Against lefties usually. Can do some damage to you though, so you have to be careful. But this is the guy that if I'm trying to work this inning, I'm concentrating on getting a ground ball out of him.
He has hit 2 ground balls already tonight. Once to short, once to third. That's hit softly. It's a foul ball. Nice catch there by Aramis Garcia, but it was a foul ball.
All for nothing.
Didn't need to. One strike to Molina. Jerko, the runner at first. Looks like Dakota Hudson's going to come back and pitch the 7th as well. Why not?
Yeah, after seeing that, you can have the rest of the game if you got the arm speed for it. And the arm strength, excuse me.
And he's been a starting pitcher. 1-1 the count to Molina. Harrison Bader on deck. Arizona has a 2-0 lead over Colorado. That's in the last of the 3rd in Phoenix. David Peralta hit a 2-run homer in the first inning of that game against Colorado's German Marquez. Zach Greinke on the mound for the D-backs. Out into medium deep left center. Blanco tagged by the runner Jerko, but he wasn't going. Just bluffing. Back to first.
Definitely looked like the ball had a little weird spin on it up there on that ball too. It seems like when they hit a high fly ball right now tonight, for whatever reason, the ball's dancing a little bit on those center fielders. Even with Blanco right there, you can see he went about 4 different directions.
Here's Harrison Bader, who hit a ground ball. Didn't hit it particularly hard. 79 miles an hour, right past the third base bag, just barely fair for a double, and then moments later scored on Colton Wong's ground ball right past the third base bag. Strike 1 to Bader, who's only 24 years old, out of the University of Florida. Bruce Bochy was talking about him and saying that, you know, he's already become one of the best center fielders in the league.
Yeah.
But he also just added so much energy to this whole Cardinals team. Fast runner, excellent defensive player, and he's hit pretty well. To the count. Almost, we had a close-up of him a moment ago before that pitch. It almost looked like he was peeking.
A little bit.
Did you see that?
Yeah. See, that would be the wrong guy. Bum would be the wrong guy to peek on. If you're going to get caught peeking, you don't want Madison on the mound. I don't think he was, but it kind of looked like he
just had a little glance away before that pitch 2 pitches ago, the 0-1 pitch. And a foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah. That I'm thinking you might not want to have that clip available for Madison to see. That might not go over too well.
Maybe the guy in the on-deck circle shouted something to him.
That's it.
His girlfriend's in the stands, and she called to him. Maybe it was something else entirely.
He better come up with something believable.
Now the Cardinals bullpen is busy. Jordan Hicks, the guy we just saw throwing 97, 98. Hicks is the guy who throws much harder than that. That ball is drilled down the left field line into the corner and foul. .336 to the foul pole down there. And it looked foul.
Looked like he might have been waiting on that a little bit. It almost looks like he sat on that pitch right there, the way he tracked it. Waited on it.
A little topiary garden down there along the left field line.
Where's that ball?
It hits into the.
It's over here, I swear.
If it's
oh, don't fall in. Don't fall in. Don't do it. Oh. Oof. Oof. That could have went real bad for that lady. She got the ball out of it, though. What people will do for a baseball.
3-2 the count. Runner goes. And a foul out of play off to the right.
Right there, she's going. Oh, oh, oh. I mean, you want a baseball bad enough, you will go head first into some bushes to get it. It'd be really awesome if that was a BP ball. She's thinking it's the real one that comes out with like practice on it, stamped on it. You know?
It's like that commercial from a couple years ago. They reached into the vines at Wrigley Field and pulled out Andre Dawson.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
3-2 the count. Jerko runs. And another foul. So Bader hanging very tough here. Jordan Hicks heating up in the Cardinal bullpen. He's been clocked at up to 105 miles an hour this year.
With movement. I mean, there's some movement on that heat, too. That's
3-2 the count. 2 down in the inning. Jerko runs, and it's ball 4. Quite a gritty plate appearance here by Bader.
It almost kind of looked like on that pitch right there, Bum got tired of messing around with him. Looked like he went to a changeup. He hasn't thrown many this game, and he pushed it, but it was almost like, I'm going to throw it out there, and if he swings at it, great, but if he doesn't, I'm just going to, you know what, I need to start over with the next guy, especially if he's fouling everything off, his pitch count's getting up there.
Colton
Lefty.
Wong, he knocked in the go-ahead run his last time. Slashing one right past third.
And he probably saw that in the middle of that at bat. He was running up some foul balls, and you can look over and you can see there's a lefty coming up, and you're going to take your chances lefty on lefty if it doesn't look like it's going to work out.
That was the 10th pitch of the sequence to Bader. It was ball 4. Big jump away from second by Jerko, and then Bumgarner stepped off the slab. Bumgarner has thrown 23 pitches in this inning already. That is a called strike. And walk of Bader, the only walk allowed by Bumgarner tonight. So 90 pitches overall in this game. 2 on, 2 out. And the curveball misses. On deck, the pitcher due up next, and Patrick Wisdom has come out on deck. Cardinal rookie. And he's been showing power. Base hit to right field. Jerko is going to be waved. The throw in, the tag, and he never got the ball. He tagged him with an empty glove. It's 3-1 Cardinals. The tag was in time, but there was no ball in the glove. Bader to third, Wong to second.
Sometimes you really have no choice right there. You got to try to tag the guy, and you're just hoping the ball is like in your glove at the same exact time that you put the tag on, because that's your last second. It looked like that ball checked up. If he holds on to that ball, which is a tough deal to do, he had it backhanded. He has him. He'd be out at home, but fortunately that ball came out of the glove.
So Slater, a strong throw that would have been there in time, but it did kind of short hop Nick Hundley. So now 3-1 Cardinals, and here is Wisdom, who's hit 4 homers and 41 big league at bats. Strike one.
You're going to see the bullpen start to get scrambled here.
On 1 to Wisdom. And the curveball is off the outside. Time to see what's happening in the Giants bullpen with Nest Cam IQ, the sharper indoor security camera. With its built-in Google Assistant, you can ask it questions like, hey Google, who's number 54 in the Giants bullpen? And that's, of course, Reyes Moronta. Get yours at nest.com. Two and one now. This has been a very long inning for Bumgarner. This next pitch will be his 29th of the inning. And this is a spot he's trying to keep the Giants alive in this game. It's now 3-1, 2 runners in scoring position for Wisdom.
And he's just missing. I mean, that ball is just not quite coming back like he wants it to.
Three and one. Check swing and a foul. Three and two the count now. Wisdom hit a grand slam 6 days ago in this ballpark against the Dodgers. 4 homers and 41 at bats since they called him up. Time was granted there. Bumgarner in mid motion. Stopped.
Who'd the umpire blame that time, you think?
I didn't see him pointing at anybody.
I didn't either.
Bumgarner strikes him out. But the Cardinals scratch out another run and lead 3-1. Bumgarner due up second. May have thrown his final pitch.
game and the season on NBC Sports Bay Area. While Teresa Vignal is on assignment, Grant Liffman joins Grant Brisbee on the Giants Outsiders. After post-game live on every 7 p.m. night game broadcast on NBC Sports Bay Area.
A new pitcher has come in now for the Cardinals, who lead 3-1. And this is a guy who may be the hardest thrower in the game now. Jordan Hicks from Houston. He just turned 22 2 weeks ago and has been clocked as high as 105 miles an hour. Slater leads off against him. Well,
he's
99.
a little tired. He's a little tired. Starting off at 99. Trying to work into it.
According to StatCast, he is in the top 3 for average pitch velocities. And all of his different fastballs all clocked on average over 100 miles an hour. There's one at 101. His sinker 100.4, his four-seamer 100.3, his two-seamer at 100.2. Those are the average speeds of those pitches.
Wow.
Alan Hansen is on deck with Bumgarner due up next. And you can see some sinking action on that one.
Yeah, he's got some
102.
movement at 100 plus. I mean, that's nasty. And I think for hitters, they're like, I'm just going to take until I have to swing. Slater's probably up there like, man, really happy he hadn't thrown a strike yet. He's going to be hard to hit.
And Slater thought he had a walk.
He was.
That looked like it had movement coming back to the plate, didn't it?
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like a hitter, he sees it, but that ball's so fast, he sees it away, and then his eyeballs can't track it after a while. They're like, okay, it's away. Well, if it comes back, though, it's a strike. But last time he saw, probably the last time he saw it, it looked outside.
3-1 now. And that is ball 4. And the Giants need base runners, down by a couple of runs. Alan Hansen will pinch hit for Bumgarner and represent the possible tying run. And he's shown some power as a left-handed hitter. He also been swinging a lot of bad pitches, especially the second half of the season. He's been the Giants' best overall pinch hitter. He's had 10 hits in 27 at bats as a pinch hitter, 370 average, and 10 for 26 with 2 homers as a left-handed batting pinch hitter. On 1. 101 miles an hour with that fastball. Ground ball and through into right field. Slater's going to keep on going over to third, and the Giants have runners at first and third. Just beyond the grasp of the diving Colton Wong.
I mean, even to pull 102 is pretty good. You can see he didn't try to do too much. He kind of kept the barrel short and just kind of chopped down on that ball and snuck it through that infield right there.
So the Giants have 2 men on with nobody out, and the leadoff man Gregor Blanco will come up now. Blanco 0 for 3 tonight. Has grounded out to second twice and flied out to right. Ball 1. Patience definitely a virtue with Hicks on the mound, and coming out of the bullpen with a little bit of wildness. 74 innings before tonight. That's a lot of innings for a young guy. 38 walks and 7 hit batsmen. That's back out of play. But that's 45 free base runners in 74 innings. That's a lot.
Yeah, no, when you throw that hard, sometimes you're not always going to have good command, but you have the ability to get out of it because you do throw hard. So when you do throw strikes, not a lot of guys are going to hit you, but the walks are probably why his ERA is even over 3, just because he puts guys on base for free.
A little fly ball, shallow left, and it dropped in front of Ozuna, who I think lost it in the lights. It looked like Ozuna was going to catch it, and then at the last he kind of shied away from it, and it dropped in front of him. Scoring on the play is Slater, and it's 3-2 St. Louis. Hansen to second.
It definitely looked like he didn't want to catch that ball. Kind of looked like he kind of went in on it and then kind of chopped down, and then he kind of, I don't know if he lost in the lights or if he just didn't get a good angle, because
he slowed up on it. Why would you slow up on it? It dropped in front of you.
Well, good for the Giants.
Mike Maddox, pitching coach, out to the mound. Nobody out. A run is in, and 2 men on for the Giants, with Joe Panik coming up. Scored as a single and an RBI, and nobody throwing in the Cardinal bullpen. Ryan Eversgerd, one of the, I guess he's the bullpen coach out there. That's who he is. So Maddox back to the dugout. So now, if you're Bruce Bochy, what do? Do you lay down a bunt? You're down by 1 run. You've got 2 men on and nobody out. Longoria on deck. You let Panik swing away. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Cardinals are thinking he might be bunting. They're pulled in at the corners. He squares. Look out. That was not comfortable.
No, I don't think Joe was feeling very comfortable as 104 was coming in on his hands with movement.
One ball, no strikes. Jerk goes shallow at third. Carpenter shallow at first. And he fouls it. And that got a piece of Yadier Molina.
He doesn't even like it when the ball hits him at 100 plus. That ball lost about 2 or 3 miles per hour, but he's gonna feel it. Oof. Grab some ice.
1 ball, 1 strike to Panik. Panik has had 1 sacrifice bunt. Not bunting that time, and a foul off the left field line. 102-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's 1-2. We've seen a few of them now. Hansen, the possible tying run at second. He's a very fast runner. Maybe the Giants' fastest. I think with Duggar on the disabled list, I don't think there's any question he's the fastest. And Blanco, who's a pretty fast runner, the possible go-ahead run at first. Longoria on deck. And the slider in the dirt, blocked by Molina. 87 miles an hour. Two and 2 to Joe Panik. And he struck him out. That is the first out of the inning. Here comes Longoria. Longoria has had 3 hits in 3 at bats, a single, a double, and another single. Giants down by a run, 3-2. 2 men on, 1 man out now. And that fastball right in there for a called strike. Longoria has never faced Jordan Hicks before in a big league game. The rookie, he just turned 22. That's down the left field line, foul. And Longoria is checking his bat to make sure it's all still in one solid piece. To the count. Brandon Crawford is on deck. So what? He struck out Panic with that slider. Is he going back to it again here?
I mean, that's the swing and miss pitch for him tonight. Seemed to be hitting his fastball.
That one is off the glove of Molina, and the runners will move up.
I mean, that's the tough thing for a catcher. He throws so hard that if you don't, you can't react like you normally can when a guy's even throwing 95. I mean, this ball is so hard and so high. By the time he even sees that it's up there, it's already by him, and you can't move that quick.
Wild pitch. So now the possible tying run at third, the possible go-ahead run also in scoring position at second. The Cardinal infield comes in. They're in all the way around. 1-2 the count. The slider, a little pop-up. Carpenter, no, just back into the dugout. Not hit very high in the first place. Now I think Longoria thinks that bat is cracked, so he gets another piece of wood from the bat boy. Three to 2 Cardinals in the 7th. The run is in for the Giants. Hansen at third, Blanco at second. Pulled foul.
From 102 to 88. Kudos to Longoria for even getting a piece of that ball.
The Cardinals bullpen goes back to work. A right-hander starting to throw in the bullpen and beyond the right field wall. 1-2 the count. Down the third baseline, foul. Well, back to 101. Well, does that say to you that he's seeing the ball well out of the hand of because he's not looking fooled by these pitches.
He's picking it up, yeah. When you can, and he turned on a couple 100-mile-an-hour pitches too. He's definitely picking him up pretty good.
Just got a piece of that one. Tough slider at 89 miles an hour. Foul tip. Brebbia, the right-hander, up in the Cardinal bullpen. There he is, number 60. And Reyes Moronta has been in the Giants bullpen, and now he's been joined out there by Stephen Okert, a left-hander. Runners at second and third, 1 out. Again, the 1-2 pitch. Look out. And he buzzed him. At 101 miles an hour.
I think even Longoria looked around and tried to figure out if he could pick up velocity. Probably see how hard it was, and two, wondering how he can get out of the way of a ball that hard. I mean, the ball was by him when he decided to get out of the way.
2-2. Fastball away. Well, sometimes a guy wants to move you off the plate a little bit and then work again to the outside, and he did, but Longoria was able to cover up on it.
Yeah, and that's another thing. You have a hard. You might have been able to take that as a ball if he wasn't throwing as hard, but you have so little time to react. You are you're swinging ball at a hand when a guy throws that hard. So unless it's definitely not a strike, you're going to see guys swinging.
Fastball to first, and breaking for the plate, Hansen, the Giants' fastest runner. Carpenter thought about it and said, well, I have no shot. So he took the out at first. The Giants have tied the game. And what a clutch at bat that was by Longoria. Seeing gas like you rarely see. And he put the ball in play and got that runner home. 3-3.
And he hit the ball on the part of the infield. It's basically the furthest away from home plate compared to the runner. And that's the angle you want to take. You want to try to hit balls to that side of the infield if you have a runner on third base, because that gives you the best chance of scoring. And he did exactly what he needed to do for a productive out. It was a good veteran at bat from a veteran hitter.
Well, now Crawford went up there, but the Cardinals said, we're going to give you the automatic walk. So Crawford no sooner had arrived at home plate than was told to go to first. So now first and third. Blanco at third. Crawford takes up at first, and they'll go after the right-handed hitting Nick Hundley. There's also been a lot of pitches in this inning. That pitch to Longoria for the ground out and an RBI was his 25th pitch in this inning. In late September. There's a ball into right field. On the move, Martinez gets there. But the Giants have tied the game. Top of the order coming up for the Cardinals. Moment of the year. In-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Pitch tracking. Download MLB at Bat today. We head to the last of the seventh inning here in St. Louis. The Giants with a two-run seventh inning rally against the young flamethrower Jordan Hicks to tie the game. A fly ball that was not caught ends up being a critical play in the inning, plus a wild pitch later on thrown by Hicks. Now Stephen Okert is in for the bullpen, perhaps and almost surely just to face one hitter with Matt Carpenter, the league's leading home run hitter, to lead off the inning, and then a string of right-handed hitters due up after that.
Yeah, and Okert's been very effective since he's been brought up from AAA. Shown a little bit more velocity, a little more life to his fastball than he had. I think they were excited about that before they brought him up, and he looked like he's been able to locate and command his breaking ball a little bit better. So they're definitely looking for him to get Carpenter out right here. This isn't going to be easy, but he can do it. He's got the stuff to do it.
The Giants go into the overshift against the power hitter, and he shows bunt. Ball is low for ball one. Alan Hansen stays in to play second base for the Giants. So Okert will go into the second spot in the order where Joe Panik had been. Slider missing. 2-0. Giants still have Reyes Moronta heating up in their bullpen, the right-hander. And there's a strike. 2-1. Dangerous hitter, and this is a big spot for Okert to be in.
And that pitch right there that he just threw was something he had a hard time doing. Like 83, a little slider to get him back into a count. And that's a big deal for Okert to show guys, because it gets that right there.
Hansen. And that's out number 1, a very big out. So he gets the lefty that he was brought in to get. Bochy's coming out. He's going to bring in Moronta now with Martinez, then DeYoung, then Ozuna. A whole string of right-handed hitters due up for the Cardinals. It's 3-3. Martinez, power hitter, awaiting his turn as Moronta comes in, and we'll be right back. Cardinals 3 in the last of the 7th inning. 45,892, a sellout crowd here at Busch Stadium as we view the proceedings from across the street out there in the Cardinals Nation area. And here is Reyes Moronta on the pitch for the Giants.
Moronta 5-2. This is his 67th game. 2.61 ERA, 62 innings pitched. Been very effective for the Giants this year, and Bochy has given him a little bit of a breather the last few days. I think mentioning just kind of giving him some time, but hasn't pitched him as often as he usually does. But he's
throws a called strike here to Jose Martinez. This is his first outing since Sunday when the Giants were still home. He's been so tough to hit. Moronta, 62 innings pitched, only 33 hits allowed.
It's like he dropped down on that. That must be a new pitch for him. He's just making up stuff out there now. He's so good. He's going to throw 98. He's going to throw that slider. He's going to challenge you.
Fastball that ran right into the hands at 97 miles an hour. Foul ball. Strike 2.
That was just a, I'm going to let it loose and throw it as hard as I possibly can.
Martinez is grounded out on a bunt, a sacrifice bunt, flied out deep to center and singled. It's a little bit low at 99 miles an hour. Cardinals have 2 relievers warming up in the bullpen. Bravia, one of them, and Carlos Martinez the other. And he chased 97 miles an hour, blew it by him, strike 3. 2 down. I guess for Mike Schilt, the score will determine which of those 2 pitchers comes in for the 8th inning. And I'm guessing if it's still tied, Brebbia will come in, but if the Cardinals go ahead, then Carlos Martinez will come in. There's Schilt. Took over when they fired Mike Matheny. Paul DeYoung. And spins off the outside. A curveball missing. DeYoung is another guy who can hit the long ball. He's got 19 home runs. This is only his 107th game of the year. And it's ball 2. He has lined out to third, grounded out to short, and struck out in this game. 0 for 3. Does not hit for much of an average. Only 235 for the year after going 0 for 3 tonight. And there's a base hit. And maybe extra bases. He will stop it first as Blanco gets it back in. And Ozuna will come up. By the way, the Cardinals, who certainly had interest in that game in Pittsburgh, they were in a rain delay for a long time in the 5th inning with the Pirates ahead 3-1. They finally restarted that game, and now the Brewers are leading 4-3. And that game is in the top of the 6th inning. There it is, posted on the out-of-town scoreboard.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of off days left for teams, especially if they're in the hunt. They'll wait as long as they possibly can to start these games. Man, those games can get long if they just started that.
No, they didn't just start it. They were in the 5th inning.
Yeah, they delayed it though, and now they just started up again, right?
A long delay. Yeah.
What, 11 o'clock? Are they in pit? They're in pit. Yeah, it's 11 o'clock over there.
That game started at around 7 o'clock, 7:05. Brewers got 3 runs in the 6th inning to go ahead, 4-3. Big rip there, but a foul back out of play by Ozuna. Power versus power here. Ozuna has singled home a run. That was in the 1st inning. And twice grounded out to short. He's 1 for 3. Big play for the Giants in the 1st half of this inning. A pop fly to shallow left that he did not catch. Two and one now. They had 37 home runs for the Marlins last year. And so far this year, 22 for the Cardinals. High and foul. Garcia comes over, but that is well back into the lower deck. Sellout crowd of just under 46,000. The Cardinals will pass 3.2 million in their home attendance with tomorrow's game. And back to the bag is DeYoung. DeYoung has only 1 steal all year. Giants 3, Cardinals 3 here in the last of the 7th. The cleanup hitter at the plate right now. Jerko on deck. Through the legs of Hundley. So now DeYoung is in scoring position. And it's a 3-ball, 2-strike count.
It's like that little slider he dropped down on a little bit and threw it kind of low into the ground, and it kind of just kicked up. And Hundley put the right block on it. It's just where that ball ended up kind of spinning off the ground, hit him on the inner thigh there, shot back to the backstop.
So now a base hit could put the Cardinals right back ahead. Still tied as we head to the 8th inning. Chris Shaw coming up. $10 billion in public money. If you have a tip, contact NBC Bay Area at 1-888-996-TIPS or visit NBCBayArea.com/WeInvestigate. NBC Bay Area. We change laws. We change lives. We investigate. 3-3 the score as we go to the top of the 8th inning. The Cardinals go to their bullpen. And it's John Brebbia who will come in now. And Brebbia in the 9th spot of the order. And Jairo Munoz has come in to replace Colton Wong at second base. Wong, who had 2 hits and 2 RBIs against Bumgarner tonight, and now he's out. Which makes you wonder if he's okay. Chris Shaw leads off for the Giants. Here's a strike.
I wasn't wondering if he was okay. I was more wondering if Brebbia has actually not shaved in the last 3 years. It's not only a big beard, it's everywhere. Like the thing's it's distracting.
96 miles an hour on the outside. 1-2 now. Shaw's had an infield hit. He's drawn a bases loaded walk, and he has struck out. So 1 for 2 with an RBI.
I mean, look at that thing. Oof.
You don't think he spends a long time in front of the mirror in the morning, making sure everything is just the way he likes it?
If that's like that, he uses hairspray on his beard.
And he went after it and did not get it. Strike 3.
Late movement, high fastball.
That's 12 strikeouts by Cardinal pitching.
The side by side, the beard and then the red bush out there in left field. Purple or whatever that color is. What's that color, John? Violet?
I'm colorblind. You're asking me?
Of all of the things that you don't have in that, I mean, I thought you would have said, well, in 1923 they put that bush in, and I mean, I thought you would have known that.
There was a baseball in it. I know that. Used to be. That's back out of play. Aramis Garcia, who'd been getting regular hits for the Giants, but tonight just making contact has been a problem. He has struck out 3 straight times, all swinging strikes to go down. Smothered in the dirt there by Yadier Molina. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Milwaukee Brewers. Mike Moustakas hit a 2-run homer to make it 6-3. Now Eric Kratz has hit a home run. They've hit 3 home runs in the 6th inning after getting that game restarted after the rain delay. It's 7-3. They're still up. And it's 2-2. 98 miles an hour with that one. And that's out of play. 2-2 the count. Cardinals got a run on the 1st. The Giants tied it with a run on the 3rd. Cardinals scored again in the 5th to make it 2-1, and again in the 6th to make it 3-1. The Giants got 2 in the 7th to tie it. Now we're in the 8th. It's 3-3. And that's foul off the right field line. 97 miles an hour on that fastball. Although if he sees another one of those, he might hit it into fairground now.
Yeah, Oppo. He did it in San Diego. Oppo Taco.
Two and two. The slider is off the outside. Full count. And he laid off. Another slider, and that one was off Yadier Molina. The plate umpire immediately asked him, Mike Estabrook, is he okay? He said, oh yeah.
Well, he's not going to say he's hurt.
Full count. That is down the right field line and into the crowd. Well, he's making Brevia throw a lot of pitches here. I believe this will be the 9th pitch upcoming from Brevia to Garcia. And he struck him out. The high hard one.
That is probably not the night that he was hoping for. But they happen.
Oh, with that 98 miles an hour, and it was up around the lettering on his shirt. So here is Slater, who is lined to short, struck out and walked. That started a 2-run 7th inning rout. 0-1. Chased it. 0-2. Mark Melancon is up in the Giants bullpen now. The right-hander. Cardinals with this another long string of right-handed hitters due up in the last half of this inning. Third baseman Jerko hugging the foul line. And he took that one. 1-2 now to Slater. 13 Giants have struck out in this game. Cardinals keep bringing guys in for the bullpen. They're all throwing 97 to 102
with movement.
Second time that a reliever has struck out the Giants, struck out the side. 10:05 Pacific time on the radio, the KNBR Giants Radio Network. Tune into NBC Sports Bay Area Sunday morning at 11 Pacific, with pregame live beginning at 10 for the final game of this series. And we'll be back with you here on NBC Bay Area and the Giants Television Network 1 week from tonight, next Friday, September the 28th at 7 for the Giants and the Dodgers from AT&T Park. And we will be also televising the Willie Mack Award, the much coveted Willie Mack Award will be announced before the game that night. So we'll have that as well for you next Friday before the Giants and the Dodgers. And there's Mark Melancon on the pitch for the Giants in the last of the 8th with Jerko, Molina, and Bader. 3 right-handed hitters due up.
38th game for Mark Melancon tonight. 34 innings pitched, thrown very, very well since coming off the disabled list. Doing a good job. 2.60 ERA. Working out of trouble here and there. He's giving up his hits, but he's getting his strikeouts, and he's got enough confidence in himself to be able to work out of jams with that cutter. It's been pretty effective.
Jerko, and the curveball in there for a called strike. The Brewers finally got retired in that 6th inning in Pittsburgh, but they lead 7-3 now. Giants made some other changes besides just Melancon coming in. That is back to the screen. Gregor Blanco has moved from center field over to left field, and Gorkis Hernandez, there's Gregor out in left field now. Gorkis Hernandez takes over in center field. Melancon will be slotted in the number 6 spot in the order where Shaw had been. On the inside corner, strike 3 call with the cutter.
That's the pitch that has made him good for so long, is his ability to throw that nasty cutter inside the righties, and basically you'll see guys back out of the way of it because it front hips them. It starts at their hip, and their first inclination is to kind of back up out of the way, and then it comes right back to the plate. If you can make that pitch, and if you could execute that pitch, you'll pitch in the big leagues for a long time.
Yadier Molina, ball 1. Yadier has had 4 hits in 13 at bats against Melancon. 308 average, but a double and 3 singles. And that curve is too low. 2-0. And Yadier, as he's gotten older, he's become more and more of a power hitter. You really got to respect that. You see his career numbers against Melancon. 3-0. Harrison Bader is on deck. And that's a called strike. And he did not throw it as if it was just a given that he was going to be taken.
No, it was a 93-mile-an-hour cutter on the outside corner. I mean, that's a perfect pitch right there. That's where you want to throw that pitch.
Strike 2 call.
Did it again. See, this is where he doesn't have very much room to play with, but this is where after those 2 pitches, if you could execute that front hip cutter, that would be a really dangerous pitch right here.
Garcia waves off Melancon. Unassisted putout. He came back from a 3-0 deficit and got it. 2 down. Jacob deGrom got a win tonight.
Cy Young, I'm telling you.
He went 7 innings, gave up 1 run. Has had one impressive start after another.
Yeah.
Here's Bader, and that's a called strike. Bader has flied out to shallow left. He's doubled and scored a run, and he has walked. And that walk helped set up a run in the 6th inning. That was a 10-pitch battle he had with Bumgarner. Just a bit low on the inside. Hundley double clutch before he threw the ball back, almost as if saying, hey, I thought that was right at the knees.
I think that's what he might have looked back at the umpire and said, you okay? You seeing all right?
Is this something I said? Just off the inside. 2-1 the count. Two down, nobody on in the 8th inning. 3-3 the score. Carlos Martinez is up again in the Cardinal bullpen. Jairo Munoz is on deck. He would be next. A 3-1 count here to Bader. There's Martinez. When the Cardinals were in San Francisco back in early July, he was the ace in the rotation. And he since has become an ace in the bullpen for them. Oh, that was a little bit high. Ball 4. That one just flew out of the hand.
Yeah,
You never threw
like
one like that, did you?
No, I never missed high. I never missed over the head like that. That was a little cutter backed up. If I missed, I usually just threw it right into the guy's toe. You know, it was never really high. It's always, they were usually jumping over the ball that I threw up there if I missed, not ducking out of the way of it. Definitely was like a cutter that it almost looked like, I don't know if it popped out early, if it slipped or what, but he didn't have a good grip on it, and it kind of spun out of his hand.
Well, here's Munoz. 275 average, 8 home runs and 273 at bats. He ripped one into left field, a base hit. Man, he hit that ball hard. Bader to second. Now Matt Adams will come up. The Giants have a left-hander up in their bullpen.
Ball here looks like he kind of pulled his hands in pretty nice. He just threw that little cutter that came back over the plate. Hit it well. He just hit it right at Blanco out there and left, which kind of kept, I think, Bader from going to third base.
Tony Watson up in the bullpen.
Yeah, you're going to see the bullpen scrambling now. They're going to need Watson to be ready for Carpenter, is my guess.
Well, and Matt Adams is a left-handed hitter who's just been announced as the pinch hitter for the pitcher, Brebbia. So Bochy going out. And Tony Watson will be brought in. Matt Adams back with the Cardinals where he started. He's a real favorite here. We'll be back. down here in the 8th inning. A walk to Bader, followed by Munoz, single to left. And now with Matt Adams inserted in as a pinch hitter, dangerous left-handed batting slugger, Tony Watson comes in to face him.
And Tony's thrown very, very well this year. Been used a lot. 68 games, 65 innings pitched. This is his 69th game. He's been very effective. He has kind of a sidearm motion, throws pretty hard from down there. And this is exactly why they signed him, and this is what Bochy has been using him for, to get out of jams late in ball games.
2 men on, 2 men out. Slider off the outside. Adams, of course, playing in the Central Division with the Cardinals early on in his career. Watson in the Central Division with the Pirates. He's had 12 career at-bats against him. 3 hits, 1 double and 2 singles. Struck out 6 of those 12 times. But he's now ahead 2-0.
And this is where, as a veteran pitcher, you see you have another lefty on base. He is a dangerous left-handed hitter where you have no place to put him, but you do have a place to put Adams. So you want to be careful. You want to try to get him out, but you don't need to give in. But it doesn't get easier after this guy. So
it's back out of play. Two and 1 the count. Carpenter, the left-handed slugger, is on deck. Adams has hit 21 home runs this year, mostly with the Washington Nationals. Got a .238 average. He's only hit 151 since coming back to the Cardinals, but has 3 homers and 53 at-bats. That is Bader. Bader scores the go-ahead run, and being waved home is Munoz, and he scores. Double, a wrong way double for Matt Adams, and it's 5-3 Cardinals.
once again, it wasn't hit that hard. He just threw it off the end of the bat, and it just got down that line where no one could get to it. And with 2 outs, everybody's running, and there was nothing you can do to stop. You got speed guys on the base paths. That third baseline has killed the Giants this evening.
That's the 3rd hit right along that line. And they're giving Adams a big standing ovation still. Off his bat at only 82 miles an hour, but right along the line. Just out of the reach of Longoria. And there's a called strike to Carpenter. Carpenter did not like the call. Meanwhile, the Brewers ahead of the Pirates 7-3 in the top of the 7th inning in Pittsburgh. The bunt. Now the Giants had the overshift on, but Longoria was playing at third base and sort of in between third base and shortstop. He was playing third base like he was playing into pole. But Carpenter trying to lay down a bunt anyway. So it's 0-2. Carpenter has singled and scored a run, grounded a short, struck out, and popped out to second. He's 1 for 4. Back to the screen. Well, the Giants have struck out 14 times tonight. And we talk about putting the ball in play. The Cardinals 3 times have taken tough pitches and put them in play and just tucked them in right along that third base line. 3 critical hits in this game.
Yeah, the more contact you make, the more opportunities you're giving yourself and your team a chance to hit. If you swing and miss a lot, obviously that's not going to happen. The Cardinals don't seem to be striking out a lot. They seem to be putting the ball in play.
Giants pitchers have had 7 strikeouts. 1-2 now to Carpenter. They had 2 balls in a row like that in the 5th inning when the game was tied at 1. Bader hit one just barely fair past third base. Not hit very hard. And then Wong tucked one in right along the line again to get him home. Carpenter, he strikes out to end the inning, but Matt Adams did not strike out. A 2-run wrong way double. Top of the 9th inning, 5-3. The Giants are trailing. Coming up with Alan Hansen, Gregor Blanco, and then Gorkis Hernandez as the Cardinals bring in Martinez from the bullpen. Carlos Martinez, who has been excellent in whatever role they have used him. Also, Adolis Garcia is now in right field, replacing Jose Martinez, a defensive change out there. And ball 1. And here the Giants are once again needing base runners. Hansen entered the game in the 7th inning as a pinch hitter after Slater had led off the inning with a walk. And Hansen got a base hit to right. And later in the inning scored the tying run of the game. And that is ripped down the right field line. Into the corner, the new right fielder will go after it. A double for Alan Hansen. And he is 2 for 2. Larry Baer, the Giants
loving it.
President and Chief Executive Officer here tonight.
He's probably loving what Hansen's been doing since they called him up. Been a pretty good little hitter for him.
He's been
especially in the pinch hit spot.
He's been their best left-handed pinch hitter. He got speed. So here is Blanco. A drag bunt, but foul. Blanco got a single to knock in a run in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 4 in the game. Martinez has had 3 saves and 3 tries. Today is his 27th birthday. is low as a reliever. A 2.19 ERA in 12 1/3 innings. He moved to the bullpen back on August the 21st. Look out, a check swing. Did he go? The appeal no, says Kerwin Danley, third base umpire, the crew chief. The Giants mounted a comeback in the 7th. Can they do it again? Bud Norris, Northern California native, had been the closer for the Cardinals much of the year, but they moved Carlos Martinez in there about a month ago. Now it's 2-2. He started the game in San Francisco back in July, and he pitched a beauty. He just dominated the Giants. The final game with the third game of that 4-game series. He went 7 innings, 1 run allowed. Just got a piece of it, and that once again got the catcher Yadier Molina.
Yeah, he's not feeling very good. Hit him in the kneecap here. Oof. He's had both knees, I think, hit today.
Bummer.
They're got to come to look at him.
The head trainer is Adam Olson.
Says, Adam, I need you to leave. I know, Yachty, but you're old. I need you to leave. Okay, let me be.
Molina missed 26 games from May into June after being hit by a Chris Bryant foul tip on a fastball from Jordan Hicks at 102 miles an hour. Strike 3 called for Blanco.
That was a pretty good frame drive by Yachty. I don't think that ball's a strike, but Yachty caught that ball pretty good. And that's what he's been good at his whole career, is taking this ball right here that's definitely outside and bringing it to where it looks like a strike. He's very skilled at that, but that ball right there is outside. Right on the corner. It's outside? Yeah, that's what I thought. It was outside.
Oh, I was checking out the strike zone in the game cast, and it agreed with you. Ball 1 to Gorkys Hernandez. Hansen led off the inning with a double to right.
You're saying so that thing agreed with me?
Yeah, off the outside.
I just wanted you to repeat that in case my wife is listening. But, you know.
1-1 now to Gorkys. That slider again. 15 strikeouts for Cardinal pitchers tonight. That equals the Cardinals' season's high for strikeouts in a game. They struck out 15 Brewers 3 months ago at Milwaukee. This is Jairo Munoz. Over to third goes Hansen, but now 2 down for the Giants. And Evan Longoria coming up. Longoria has 2 singles and a double, and he also knocked in the tying run with a ground out to first his last time up there. He's had quite a night. Brandon Crawford out on deck. Two down, runner at third here in the 9th inning. Carlos Martinez delivers. Called strike 1. Longoria's only faced Martinez 1 time in his career, and he got a single against him. That was back when Longoria was with Tampa Bay. And now the Giants are down to their final strike. The 16th strikeout of the night, the most in any game this year by the Cardinals, and that brings it into it. 5-3 St. Louis over the Giants here in game 1 of this series. And for the Giants, they battled from behind in the 7th, but finally Matt Adams with the wrong way double off the fists and right past third base, and that was the hit that won the game for St. Louis. We're going to have more here from Busch Stadium. Stay tuned. Cardinals 5, Giants 3, and we'll be right back.